Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is reacting to the Patrick Beverly comments on the Lakers blowing a 3-1 lead. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro podcast that we have linked in the description below, and also be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro website that we're going to be launching in the near future. So let's just go ahead and get into the topic here. Now, I was watching some of the players from the Clippers talking to the media after their first day of practice, and one of the players that I was able to listen to was Patrick Beverly. And you know, Patrick Beverly usually, as usual, is always quite defensive when he's speaking to people, right? He's always like, "What you mean? What you mean by that? What you mean by that?" Y'all remember the comments that he made after, I think, the Lakers beat them for the third time, or they beat them for the first time, which was in Game 3 last season. I think he didn't score any points in that game, and they asked him after the game, he didn't score any points. He had a horrible game, and they asked him, so Patrick Beverly is LeBron James hard to guard, and he goes, not at all, absolutely not, absolutely. Like, so he's always defensive, and people got on him like, bro, you got 0 points that game. What are you talking about? Why are you talking like this? So anyway, one of the questions, as has been from all the media, like most of us want to know, what do these guys have to say about their meltdown last season against the Denver Nuggets? And one of the reporters, and I'm going to play the audio for you guys, one of the reporters asked Patrick Beverly to respond to the whole thing of having a lack of leadership. So before I get into that, I want you guys to take a listen to that soundbite. So take a listen to this.
I don't think it's leadership. I think anything involving you being up real big and losing, you win the lottery, you win a lot of money, you lose it. That's not lack of leadership. I think that's lack of somewhat of toughness, mental toughness. Okay. I think that's what we have to address. I think, our leaders are obviously Kawhi, PG, myself, and Lou. Marcus Morris also not. And you inserted Baca, but 3-1 league is not lack of leadership. I think that's just lack of mental toughness to go out there and finish the job.
Okay, how do you address that going into this season?
Just put yourself in more situation to be mental tough. I don't know whether it's. I don't know, you have 10 reps to do on the bench press, do 12. I mean, that's how you build mental toughness. So now when you get in the trenches and, things aren't going right, you have something to build off of it. And collectively as a group, mental toughness, I think that was the key. And being in a situation where losing 3-1 gives you that mental toughness going in next season. So it's all a process.
So in the soundbite, Patrick Beverly says, no, it was not a lack of leadership. It was a lack of mental toughness. That was the reason that they lost to the Denver Nuggets. He gave the example of being up in a game of, winning money. And if you lose some money, why'd you lose that money and all of that? That was his own analogy that he decided to give. And he said it was just a lack of mental toughness, that's something that they needed to focus on. That's something that they needed to work on. And to one extent, I do agree, right? Because in certain situations when things are going good and all of a sudden it starts going bad and you completely just sort of fold up and, capitulate, I can understand some people saying, hey, man, listen, you weren't tough enough to sort of handle the adversity, to see this thing all the way through to the end, to get the process completed. I understand that. And yes, not being mentally tough it can play a role in that. I agree with that to an extent. But also, there are many other things, and I think we like to throw one thing on a problem that has so many moving parts. Yes, mental toughness was one of them. Leadership was one of them. Somebody to really knock guys in the head and say, "Come on, pull it together. We can do it." Blah blah. That's also another part. But also a lack of coaching is another thing, right? When we talk about leadership, where is the leadership coming from? Yes, we have leadership on the court from the players, but coaching plays a role. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Coaching plays a role. Is a reason why you see great coaches win a lot of titles. It's not by just because they have great players. There are a lot of teams that have good players that never win. We know this. So coaching plays a role. The coaching staff plays a role, right? A lack of adjustments was one of the reasons that they lost to the Denver Nuggets last season. It wasn't just a lack of not being mentally tough enough. Maybe you woke up that day and said, we're going to win this game, and you go out there and lose. Sometimes it has nothing to do with your mental toughness. Sometimes it may be that you may be very mental tough with a very bad game plan. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to hamper on it. Think about Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson, who went into that fight with Jake Paul. I'm sure he must have been very determined to win that fight. When he came out, you saw he was swinging and going at the guy. So you could see he had a lot of determination. But the only problem was the other guy that he was playing against was much more skilled, was much more seasoned, had an actual strategy. When the fight started, he had his hands up. He was not rushing in, with his hands down and open himself up to punches or whatever it is. So motivation is not just enough. You need to also have a strategy. And the Clippers had a strategy that got them up 3-1 in that series, but then the other team made an adjustment to their strategy, which is something teams do all the time in sports. And now you have to make an adjustment because teams can see things out there that are working and try to go to that. And if you can't answer it, they're going to keep doing it. For an example, think of the hack a Shaq, right? A hack a Shaq is essentially a strategy a lot of people have implemented, Greg Popovich and others, where they say, okay, you know what? We're going to foul the hell out of you. And we're going to keep fouling you. We're going to keep wasting fouls on you and force you to make your free throws. Until you prove you cannot make your free throws, we're going to keep doing it. It happened to Dwight Howard as well. Teams would be down, and it would just foul the hell out of Dwight Howard. He would miss one or miss two, and they'll go down and get 2 points or 3 points, and that's how they would catch up. It's a strategy. It forces the other team to adapt. You now either keep Dwight Howard in the game and hope he makes his free throws, or you take him out of the game and replace his size and get somebody. This is an adjustment. It has nothing to do with, oh my God, am I mentally tough? Oh my God, am I hit? Sometimes teams do things and you have to now adapt to those things. So when people talk about coaching is not it and this and this and this, it's a very, very superficial answer to give. Well, it was this. No, it wasn't. It was more complicated than that. So I think it's multi-layered. Now, pressure plays a role as well. Pressure, not being able to rise to the moment. Maybe the moment may be too big for you. Maybe you may have a great strategy. Maybe you may be a very good player, and maybe the pressure gets to you, nerves get to you, and then you just start crumbling under the pressure. That could be another thing. So, but one of the things he did say was that the Clippers were going to be very, 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 very motivated coming into this season, which is something that I hope is true. I hope it's true. I hope it left a bad taste in their mouths. Listen to some of the players that are returning from last season. It seems to be the sentiments echoed by all of these players that, listen, hey, man, it was embarrassing the way we went out. Patrick Beverly even spoke about in the offseason how he had to take that on the chin because he was one of the biggest trash talkers. You saw how much trash he was talking to Damian Lillard when he missed that free throw. You saw how much trash he was, talking on social media. And then now everybody was saying 1, 2, 3 Cancun, and now they're saying it to him, and he had to take that L on the chin, and he has to bounce back from that. So after listening to Patrick Beverly's comments, we all know that Patrick Beverly is defensive in general when he's speaking to people. But in this instance, I don't think it's just a lack of being mentally tough. I think it's that and a plethora of other things that contributed to them blowing that 3-1 lead. So that's basically my thoughts reacting to his comments when he was questioned on that particular topic. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about Patrick Beverly's comments? What parts do you agree with? What parts do you disagree with? Whatever you guys think, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you haven't already, because it really helps these videos. YouTube likes when these videos get a lot of likes. So please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And be sure to check out some of our other videos that we're posting at the end of this video. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.